differently abled, differently.
InAble, through their annual Inclusive Conference, aims at ensuring that assistive technology is embraced in all aspects of life. This not only supports people with disabilities, but also people without disabilities. Take a look.
The InAble Africa Conference brought together passionate advocates, innovators, and leaders from across the globe with a common goal: to champion disability inclusion through assistive technology.
We are part of a growing, committed community that is walking this journey together, pushing forward the vision of digital accessibility in Africa. When digital products and services are not designed with accessibility in mind, they create invisible walls that deny users the opportunity to access or engage meaningfully in activities across all areas of life. This renders digital accessibility a priority and a fundamental human right and a necessary economic consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, digital accessibility is not a one-time fix. It's a continuous evolving process that must be embedded from the start and throughout the development of the product lifecycle. Are our digital platforms genuinely designed with accessibility in mind? Are our policies being adequately implemented and enforced to ensure no one is left behind? Are we creating accessible educational tools, e-government services, and AI systems that benefit all users? Most importantly, are persons with disabilities leading the change? Or are they being part of the creative and design teams? Or are they still being left behind as consumers? One of the key successes of this conference is the development of the Kenya Accessibility Standard for Digital Products and Services, which is now setting a benchmark for advancing digital accessibility across organizations.
A lot of people randomly come to the street and ask me, what happened to your legs? And very random questions, and I'm sure that a lot of persons with disabilities here can relate to those questions. I realize that there's a disconnect between persons with disabilities and persons without disabilities, and that led me to create something called Movement Beyond Walls. Basically, we use play and the creative arts to bring persons with and without disabilities together in the same space, because art and play creates connections, and I believe in soul. And like Tunde Onakoya would say, I believe that we can do great things from a small place, and we are all doing that through our own way.
As we sit here discussing accessibility, it's not just about what we understand to be the product of innovators. It is putting together our recollection of how far we have come, what the innovators have done, the capital they have employed to ensure that devices like this one are accessible. That persons with disabilities are taken care of when it comes to technology.
This conference served as a powerful platform for conversations that will shape a more inclusive future for all.
It is one thing to have suitable legislation, suitable policies, to have groundbreaking programs. But unless we make those rights real, by making sure that those to whom those instruments are intended to benefit actually get those benefits. If you reflect, and I ask this of persons with disabilities here, they will tell you that access to education, access to training and skills development, access to employment, reasonable accommodation, independent living, information, access to information, and social inclusion have big, big limitations for us.
Inclusion is, if I walk into a casting, you don't put me in a box. If I'm the best businesswoman in the room, which I probably could have been from my lived experience as a businesswoman, then you cast me as a businesswoman and you cast someone else as a person with albinism. That is inclusion, because you see me as me. You don't just see me as my condition.
So has progress been made? I have to say yes, and it seems like the reason I hesitate is because to you it might not be progress, but to us every little step counts. So first it was, can we come together and just do an inventory? Are we serving persons with disabilities? Are we really looking into this? Whether it's the physical aspect of ramps, whether it's the digital aspect, whether it's account opening forms, are they in Braille? Are our ATMs, do they have the voice reader? Do they have Braille on them so that, everybody can use the systems that we have? When we speak to the website, what are the colors we're using on the screen? And are we considering our persons with disabilities?
Sometimes I struggle with trying to get information or coming across an ad and it's not accessible. So if we don't have alternative text, even when I'm scrolling on social media, I'll just go past it. Disability is not, it's not just an issue of, persons with disabilities and that's it. People who are just trying to make noise to be included. It cuts across all sectors. Persons with disabilities are doctors. They are, we are in every sector if you think about it. It's only that we are limited to what we can do because of our environment.
While the ordinary child will be happy to get a pen for 100 shillings, the equivalent of perhaps $1, and go to school and happily take their notes, a child with visual disability or a blind child will require, I think, upward of 120,000 shillings to get a brailler.
We need to do more to ensure inclusion is a reality in Africa and beyond. Just recently, His Excellency President William Ruto assented to the Persons with Disabilities Bill, now an Act 2025, that, among other things, ensures that the international customary law, specifically the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, is now domesticated as a municipal law. The Act provides for digital inclusion and ensuring that persons with disabilities participate on an equal basis with others to exercise their rights with regards to such endeavors as elections, where for the first time, persons with disabilities have a right to get a secret ballot to choose who is going to be their leader.
The key highlight being the exhibition hall, where groundbreaking assistive devices took a center stage.
Kilimanjaro Blind Trust Africa distributes digital Braille assistive devices called the Orbit Reader 20, Orbit Reader 20 Plus, as well as Orbit Reader 40, and also an Orion TI-84 calculator. All these devices are meant to help visually impaired learners to be able to learn in an inclusive class.
People who are epileptic or who have epilepsy, they normally get seizures and fall to the ground, and the next thing they bite their tongue. So ours is to try and guard that person from more danger, and also to help the guardians or the people around them know that something has happened to them. Yes. So what we have come up with is a gadget called the EpiGuard, which is basically a bite protector. This one will protect the person from biting their tongue.
Attendees had the opportunity to experience first-hand revolutionary devices for the blind, communication tools for the deaf, and advanced mobility solutions for the wheelchair users.
It really is very humbling to see what many are doing to ensure that persons with disabilities access technology on an equal basis. We are fighting battles with very few weapons in the way of resource mobilization. We are very lean in finances.
Something that I use every day that makes me feel empowered is the fact that I use a wheelchair, obviously. And I would like to emphasize in terms of inclusive and being inclusive is the fact that I use an appropriate wheelchair. Most of us wheelchair users often use wheelchairs that are not designed for us, and they end up doing more harm than good. So it is also very important for all the stakeholders here. When you are providing disabled people with wheelchairs, make sure that they are fitted for them, that they are appropriate for them, just to make sure that they are more comfortable.
For assistive mobility, what I use is, of course, a white cane. And additionally, the struggles that I face as a Namibian with a disability is finding inclusive spaces for mental health support. Now, I say this because, like I mentioned, I'm a singer, songwriter, composer, counselor, and disability advocate. With that being said, whilst I look for inclusive spaces for persons living with disabilities for my clients, it also hits close to home because I myself am a person who has a disability.
I think we need to get to a point where it needs to be a culture, where people want to learn to be inclusive, where they have conversations. I mean, the Albinism Society has a phrase that they use, nothing for us without us. So if you're really going to be inclusive, you need to have people with lived experience, but most importantly, you need to listen to them. You don't just have them there as props so you can say you've ticked your box.
The community is encouraged to continue working towards a world where every individual, regardless of ability, has the opportunity to thrive.
I'm sure you've seen persons with disabilities doing incredible work, innovation, bringing solutions. And this is because we believe in ourselves. And we are contributors of what we call progress and change.
Let us create a future where everyone can learn, thrive, and lead, supported by accessible technology and sustained by inclusive policies.
To ask themselves one simple question. If I had a disability like so-and-so, like so-and-so, like so-and-so, how would I want to be treated? What would I want as a hand given me by those in government and in other non-state agencies to ensure that what I cannot afford by way of technology, I nonetheless get it?
That feeling of those with disabilities that they are unwanted, that they are not good enough, is something that we must continuously challenge so that we overcome the greatest barrier of disability, which is attitude that is resident in the minds of many people.
If we want people to see us as normal, and I have to stress the inverted commas because I feel normal, we need to brand disability in a different way. We need to normalize it.